CSB, we're a bunch of individuals who are passionate about life and how important our faith is, journeying through life and offering you a platform to do that, whether it be online, whether it be in person, a relaxed environment, conversational style, and just talking about life and its journey.
Good morning, Swys. Welcome here. Lovely to see you here in Stellenbosch. Tell me, what are you doing at the moment here in Stellenbosch?
I tell you what, I coach the SA women's rugby. Very blessed to do that. We're preparing for the World Cup. Middle August, and hopefully if we can qualify, make the top 8 for the first time ever. In fact, we just need to win a game because we haven't won a game at the World Cup yet. It's tough. It's tough. We 11th, 12th in the world ranking now, and there's the top. Only the top 16 teams are there. So
it's a big challenge.
It's a big challenge, but what a challenge! But you know, we love. That's why we're in sport. You know, we love the challenges.
Yeah. And tell me, Swys, where did it all start for you?
Once it started in Vicksburg. Grew up there up to 16 years old before we moved to Welkom. In 1974, I was 14 years old, so you can work out we've been in this game for a while. In 1974, we saw all 4 the British Lions tests. My dad and my uncle with the combi, we drove to all of them, to Boet Erasmus.
Willie John McBride,
1974. So in the last, we lost the first day, and the last one we drew. So that was fantastic to. That's
so
where it comes from. Love from my dad mainly, and support, and just my mates and everything. That's what we did. It's all we did, you know.
So your upbringing in the northern and eastern Free State was very much around rugby as a kid and rugby at school. Okay, so your rugby knowledge, as from a player point of view, came from playing 9 and 10 most of your
Yes, and funny enough, a few games at 15 as well.
Okay.
So that's why I always refer back to the spine and the decision makers, and I think that it comes from that, you know, and spending a lot of time with Victor Matfield. We often speak about the spine and the importance of the spine, you know, to the aerial lock 8, 9, 10, 15 as the decision makers. Yeah, I think it started there.
That's why also now you in your early 60s, you physically still fit, and you don't have many injuries because you also didn't tackle much. as a 9 and 10.
I can't remember one.
But you're fine, you're fit and healthy at the moment.
Oh, thank God for that. Yeah, fine. I'm loving my job at the moment. Went through a bad patch at a stage 4 or 5 years ago, you know, from 2018, 19. But through that, it's God's grace we are.
So, Swysy, you're more well known in South African rugby and sports circles for your coaching career the last probably 30 to 40 years. Let's make it 35 years. So, how did you get into the coaching thing when you came to Durban and you started teaching at Afrikaans Hoër in Durban North?
Yes.
And you got into coaching from an early stage.
Yeah, you know, I was very fortunate in my last year at varsity. Our coach couldn't coach us anymore, and the players asked me if I can be player coach. So that was my first stint as in the courses. I was playing fly-off then, and I was the coach. So I picked myself first, you know, and then we carried on. So I think that's where it started. Then obviously, as a young teacher, you know, I was at Afrikaans Hoër Durban Noord. And funny enough, that my coaching there at Afrikaans Hoër was fantastic in the sense that we were very small. Our numbers were compared to the rest. We were in Port Natal, and those were the big name schools then, or the bigger schools. So. What in 1994, after coaching about 12, 13 years there, various teams at Afrikaans were mainly the first team. And at the same time, I was coaching the club side at Glenwood Old Boys. So a typical day for me would be in the mornings. I had a little gym there that the headmaster gave me, where I had some of the people in the community come and we do the kalinetics and stuff. And then the day teaching. And then afternoon, I would be with under 15s. I can't believe it. And then after that, the first team mainly. And then after that, before I go home, go to Glenwood Old Boys, coach the first team club rugby. So it was full on busy, but it was a big blessing in 1994, I think, 93. We had a team there at Afrikaans Hoër that really, we achieved so well. We beat We had 23 boys, some of the under 15s had to play double up. And we beat Glenwood that year. We drew with Hilton at a rugby festival. We beat Northwood. And it's unreal what happened when we did so well in that thing there. I got the call from Brian van Zyl and Garth Giles and the guys come and have coffee with us. And I couldn't believe it.
That's how you got the job at Natal Rugby Union?
That's how I got the job at Natal Rugby Union. So I drove there over the Mgeni River from our school and I just prayed and said, God, please, as I believe, I want this one. This something must come out of this. And we just had a nice coffee there. What a man, Brian van Zyl and Garth Giles, fantastic people. And so now I sit here as a young teacher and suddenly they say to me, what the hell is happening that side over the bridge? You know, you're doing well with the team and would you we want to start a new thing, coaching coaches. And we'll give you one of the junior teams. I never got it in schools rugby. My school was too small. I never got the provincial sides, any one of them. Because you weren't even nominated at the meetings. And now suddenly, while sitting there, they said, and when can you start? I said, no, I'm a teacher. I'm across the road. No, I know you're a teacher across the road, but that's why you're here. I said, now I'll take it. What happened that the year before that, when I got the job there, we all went to decided for the first time ever, we're going to recruit. We're going to strengthen make sure that we get the right youngsters. And that's fantastic. We won that, and that my first year, we won and the last time as well, the under 21s at Natal those days, we won the national competition, curtain raiser down here in Cape Town.
Yeah.
In 1998, Mark Graaf became the Cats coach and national coach from Andre Mark Graaf, and he offered me the job in Kimberley. Now
as head coach for Griquas?
As head coach for Griquas. I was a young coach then and it was fantastic. And after we won the thing, I just knew, Mark Graaf. I said to my wife, Mark Graaf phoned me. She said, who's Mark Graaf? I said, he's the biggest rugby legend at the moment, you know. He's the talk of the town. To come and coach Griquas. He gave me a call. He said, my wife said, I'm not going there. You must, Kimberley, where's Griquas? I said, Kimberley. No, we're not going there. So that was the very first talk,
Yeah.
But then obviously it was a fantastic opportunity. I went up to Brian van Zyl. I said, Brian, you just gave me this fantastic job. I'm loving it. Should I go? And he said to me, go and earn your stripes. Go and do your apprenticeship. It will be fantastic for your coaching, but you might come back one day. And you know the story about that. We'll speak about that now.
Yeah.
And then I went to Kimberley. It was fantastic those 5 years as a young coach. Oh man, we had tough oaks there. Liter Bakkes, and I remember Gaffie de Toy and the kind of guys you had there. Edrich Libbe. It was just these tough. It was
Did Victor
tough.
Matfield start with you?
And then I got Victor Matfield. I'll never forget Victor Matfield. He was 19 years old, 20 years old, and Tuckies didn't even want to give him a bursary at that stage.
Yeah.
And he was a bit out of shape. I'll never forget when he arrived at our house there. He arrived there with a Nissan Langley, and it was a flat sort of car. And when he got out of that car, and I realized what a giant of a man this is, and I said, my back is gone after this trip. I said, we'll have to get your shape going very quickly because it's big rugby is going to come now.
Yeah.
And to make a long story short, a year and a half later, Victor, first to the Cats as a young player, and then the Bulls bought him back for 10 times the amount that we paid him.
Yeah,
So that was fantastic. And Victor was we still big mates. We still share a lot. He was I think he was intelligence-wise the best player I ever worked with the lineouts. He was the one, and it's a fact in world
So
rugby.
great number 5 lock.
Yeah, and he came to me and we had one session there. I won't mention the hookers' names. He said, Coach, we can't do it like that if the hooker call it. He can't feel the pressure that we're under.
Yeah.
He can't really see the spaces. I said, okay, then the scrummy must call it like we did. If I go like this, it's middle ball. If I go, that's front ball. He said, no, Coach, it's a bit more complicated like that. Will you give me opportunity that I call the lineouts? Now, it's a young Victor. And I said to him, Victor, laat ek gaan dink. Let me go and think about this. Because they're senior guys, and there's Albert van der Berg, Philip Smith, they're senior guys. You're a youngster, now you suddenly call the lineouts. He said, I must give him a chance. And we went back to practice and we discussed it. He came and he showed me how when he moves in, how's his movement, where's the space, why is it so much easier for the lock, he thinks, to call it, and not the scrum off or the hooker, which was the trend in the world. Then everyone did it, every single one. And then we gave him the chance. I said, carry on, Victor, carry on, let's call it. And it was good at practice. And we played the Bulls at Loftus. Funny enough, he's got to call the lineouts at his old province in Pretoria, and we beat him that day. And we didn't lose a lineout. And it wasn't, Hans, it wasn't 2-3 months later, the New Zealand side started copying, because he then called it the Cats as well, Victor. He called it everywhere. The other South African team started following him, that the lock calls the lineouts or runs the lineouts.
Yeah.
And so he's a bit of a legend as far as that's concerned about his lineout calling. So that for me that was a highlight. The fact that Victor, and now we worked at SuperSport. He coached with me with me at a while for the Lions as well. Did the forwards there.
Maybe take us back into those early days around your walk with the Lord.
Yeah, Hans, I grew up. My mom prayed for us, as kids, a lot. My dad was an ex-policeman, and we knew that he wasn't so outspoken about that, but we knew it. But it was just there. We would go to church, but naughty in the church, I would normally run out, and it is a bit of a, it was just one of those. It was a religion more. It was a thing you got to do because we all do it.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget, I had a Damascus moment. I was in my second year, and I was very naughty at university, as my mates would tell you. Everything had to be a party. If we go fishing, it's a party. Everything was a party, and my studies went backwards, and I wasn't so clever in any case. And everything just went sort of down the drain, and I was in my second year. And those days, my girlfriend, my wife today was then my girlfriend, and I didn't have a car then, and we hitchhiked. So my mate dropped me there at Bloemfontein on the highway, and she was in Maritzburg, and I wanted to go and visit her. And I was in the car, sitting, and we were hitchhiking. Let me start from the start. And the army guys jumped in, and but all three of them sat at the back, and there I stand. And the guy looked at me, and he wondered, should I let this guy in, because I'm a civvy now. They're army guys. And he said, okay, get in. So now, we weren't 10 minutes away, all three of them were sleeping. The army guys at the back, And the guy started talking to me. And as he started talking to me, I felt sure I want to listen. I want to speak to this guy. And my eyes fell in the middle, man. There was a little pamphlet, and I saw it, a little song with an Amazing Grace and the words of Amazing Grace. Yeah. And I saw that, and he looked at me. I said to me in Afrikaans, "Is jy all right, ou groot man? Is jy all right? It lyk of jy bietjie seer het." And we were talking. I said, "No, I'm not in a nice place." And we started sharing, and I felt the presence of God for the first time there. And while we were driving, he said to me, "Close your eyes," and he prayed for me. And I was just feeling the Holy Spirit. I didn't understand what it was then. And that little words, and he said to me, "What happened to you today is amazing grace." When he dropped me there, I'll never forget it. He took the road there at that engine garage. He went to Joburg, and now I'm standing next to the road there waiting for the next lift.
For the lift down to Maritzburg.
Hitchhike again.
On the N3.
But I went on the side there, and I just said, "God, Jesus, ek's joune." And that was it. And that was unreal. And I arrived with my girlfriend, and she said, "Ek is so bly om jou te sien." And I said to her now, I told her what happened, and she just started crying. Yeah. Because she was already then a Christian. She gave her heart already,
So that was your conversion experience?
That was a Damascus one, like you can't tell.
Yeah.
I must say, after that, I was sort of mellowed again. And it happens to everyone. You get, you sort of, jy water 'n bietjie af weer, wat jou geloof betref. And for me, another turning point was, I wrote a little book, 50 Drills and Skills for the Modern Coach. There was nothing. So coaches had no material. Yeah. And late Ian McIntosh and Koos Bekers, they passed away now, they encouraged me, and Garth Giles as well, to write this book. And it was a fact-finding manual. So if you battle with your passing, do these drills. And I would draw it down. I sat hours and hours working out this thing. It wasn't what you have now. There wasn't available. We watched video work with the old VHS and turn it back and stuff. So I wrote that little book, and I was sat one night being a teacher. My wife was a teacher sitting at home, and she said, "Kom slaap nou, man. Kom slaap nou." I said, "No, I'm feeling inspired. God is helping me," and she joined me, and she started giving me netball drills. She coached Natal netball at that stage. And we must have went about 2 or 3 o'clock in the night, and the stuff just came. I said the next morning, I said, "Yo, die Here het ons gelei, eh? Did you feel the presence of God?" And it was unreal. So she said, "No, I must use this book as a witness." And I wrote in there, "I want to thank Jesus and my Creator for the guidance, inspiration, and may this book be awesome for the make a difference, you know." And then one or two guys, I won't mention name, did say that doesn't belong in rugby.
Yeah.
That doesn't belong in rugby. And I was so down, so disappointed. I remember when I got home, my wife came back from school with the kids. And I said, and I was down and out. I said, the book is not going to go, because if they don't want that, what I said there, then I don't want the book. Because God is first and Jesus is first. And I went back and thank you to Ian Mack and especially who said to me then, Francois then, he called me Francois, I was in Swys, he always called me Francois. Francois, run with the book. Go with it, I back it. If I've said yes, I won't put it in. That for me was a turning point.
But you're always well known, I mean, on the one hand, as a Christian, as a coach, is that you wear your heart on your sleeve. And over all these years, as a Christian, as a family person, and as a coach, just give us a bit of a view from your side how your life has developed in the last couple of years in that balance, because it sounds like your golf is less than it used to be.
Yeah. You know, Hans, the walk from the Sharks to Joburg was another turning point. God's way of guiding me all the way. When Johan Ackerman, who I coached at Griquas, I went to the Sharks, he went to the Sharks later as a player. And then he went to Joburg, and when he phoned me and said, now it's time for Joburg, Gauteng, come and do the attack. Yeah. And I said, no, Akkers, it's gangster paradise, my mate. I've got a cushy job here in Durban. I'm a high-performance coach, it's lekker. And we prayed about it. I'll never forget it. And waar Moses vir Aaron of Aaron vir Moses se arm so optel. And I got a thing at night that's what I must go and do with Akkers, because he's got arms like this. And I told him the morning, I'll come in, I'll take the job. I prayed about it, and God's wanted me to come and lift your arms. And that's what I went, and I did. I became, for the first time ever, assistant coach, but it was really to assist Akkers. What a man, what a God's man. And funny enough, we together again at SA Rugby.
If you think back those 5-6 years that you and Johan Ackerman were together at the Lions, you were the #1 team in South Africa for 4 or 5 years. So you ahead of Bulls, Sharks, Stormers.
Yeah, that was glory days.
Yeah, so it's significant to say that, to look at that and to see how God blessed you and Akkers and you both stood out as strong Christian sports people and coaches.
It was a real
God
blessing.
used you for success in that stage, but then you also went through some tough times.
My burnout came, head Super Rugby coach, from there straight away into the Springboks attack coach, straight away back into the Super Rugby, straight away. It just, and that was too much.
So you were head coach for the Lions and working with Rassie.
And doing the attack for the Springboks. And that was very, very, very tough for me. That was a mistake. While they were off preparing, because I don't think the coaches and the people out there, or the coaches do, the stress levels and the expectation, especially when social media came in. You know, you suddenly they build you up to break you down, so I found myself they found me 2:00 in a hotel room, the doctor in Sydney, and thank God, you know, I recovered. They sent me home 2018. A week later, I joined in again, just to get my things back. But then it hit me again in 2019. 2 weeks before the World Cup, 2019, just from Super Rugby. And there was one or two things that gathered momentum. I wanted to attack more, and Jacques wanted to defend more. I'm eating humble pie. They won the World Cup with defense, but all those things. And then sleeping tablets that don't start working. I said to Rassie, I got to go back. I can't handle it. He said, no. He said, Dad. He called me Dad now and then. He said, ons gaan vasbyt. And I just realized I couldn't. You know, Rassie, thanks for the opportunity, thanks for everything, but that's how God leads your path. It was too much rugby for me again. I was too important. My ego ran away. Oh, you're belangrik, you were the Lions, you were this. And God humbled me again, and He put me on my place again. But He said, I knew You'd look after me. To travel back there from the box, from New Zealand, as the runaway, the bad oak, it was terrible on me and my family, for that matter. But as God, as he did, you know, many times in my life, I prayed about it, and as I landed at the airport and drive back home, my wife, it was tough times there, drove back, and on the way, I got a phone call from SuperSport, you know, come and see us. And they offered me a job, and I did that for 4 years as an analyst with SuperSport. So it's amazing in my rugby path how God and Jesus the whole time, and through the guidance of the Holy Spirit, just got me absolutely on track again. So if I look back, everything had to happen the way in my little life. It had to happen like that, Hans.
I clearly remember as well when you made a big call based on values. When you pulled out there, the thing that you didn't go for fame, you didn't go for money, because you lost money by not going. You didn't go for the World Cup experience, which would have been great. Yep. So you took an unselfish decision for the right reasons, and I believe that God used that moment to pick you up.
So I had to make a tough call from this really high profile, ego-driven job, and little gods in a way as well. Let's be honest. And there's only one God, and that's Jesus. And your path is different from that path. And always thankful to Rassi that he gave me the opportunity, and all the guys there, and they were fantastic to me. But for me, if I stayed there, I would have been a coach killer number one. Coach killer number one. And so it was for me in my little world the right thing to do, to walk away. And if you walk away, and my son Francois in London said to me, Dad, I phoned him and he said, Dad, you can walk away. But remember, then if you walk away, it can be at all cost. You can lose everything. But God will never allow me to lose everything.
But you were prepared to sacrifice your
I
own
was prepared.
for His will. Though.
I was prepared. The summary when I took that decision is almost bringing back to the cross.
Yeah.
God helped me to influence people up and down, a higher age and younger age. But mainly on this level, where I was as a teacher. I did 68 schools coaches. I coached in those years when I left the box. I went on the path where God wanted me, where it's not about the ego and the heroism and the glory of coaching the box. I was there for 17 tests. But my love was to share Jesus and use rugby as a platform to get to the coaches' hearts. So I think that level where I was as a teacher, they could relate. I'm now got so many friends as teachers all over the country. On 68 schools, there's a lot in a year. And God just sent them school after school, and I did all my modules with them, all my coaching experience. So I know God used me a lot for His glory. Hey, great, eh?
Yeah.
Well, must do the work. So the work, my message is, the work is not where you think the glory is and the egos is. The devil moves there a lot as well.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
He moves there. He moves where there's egos, where there's pride, where there's I think I'm important, where Jesus lives with fishermen, with the people on this level, and that's where I feel God used me. So He took me right to the top a few times in my life, but He said to me, I've got your back. I've got your back. This make a difference, yeah. And now I'm sitting with this woman. They're waiting for us now while we're talking. Beautiful, beautiful task God gave me to take them to the World Cup and make a change in their lives. Yeah. Rugby, Hans, at the end of the day, it's just rugby. Jesus is 10 times more, my mate. Is it not so?
Perfect.
Thank
Thanks.
you.